Finn Calloway is a human student who travels far from Earth to study at Confluence University, where many alien species learn together. Humans have teeth that other species find strange and even frightening. These teeth are tools from an old way of hunting and surviving by chasing prey for hours, a way no other species evolved. Finn's new alien friends and classmates are shocked by his eating habits and teeth. But over time, they learn about human culture, persistence, and how humans use their teeth not just to eat but to show emotion and care. The story explores friendship, fear, and the power of accepting differences. It also follows Finn as he uses his unique human abilities in a new sport, challenging old ideas about fairness and strength. The story is dramatic and full of moments where emotions run high: fear, surprise, confusion, and finally understanding and respect. It shows how strange things can become familiar, and how human stubbornness and endurance can change the way others see them. The stakes rise as Finn faces challenges from others who see his natural abilities as unfair advantages, forcing him to prove what it really means to belong and to win. Finn Calloway's heart pounded in his chest as he stepped into the common room of Unity Pod, the dormitory where he would live for the next year at Confluence University. The place buzzed with life. Alien students from many worlds moved and talked around the room. Their shapes and colors were strange and wonderful, some with wings, others with glowing eyes, some with smooth glassy skin or fur that rippled like water. Finn was the only human here, and he felt both excited and nervous. He carried his small bag carefully, trying not to bump into anyone. His roommates were already there, gathering around a low circular table. Zephic, a Ventilon with delicate wing cases, fluttered nervously as he handed out dinner. The meal looked very different from what Finn was used to, small round globules that looked like giant caviar. Bueller, a large creature who took up much of the room, hummed happily as he ate, while the others, including a translucent Siler, 2 furry Kyans, and a leafy Verdanian, settled in. Finn smiled and tried to feel at home. He picked up one of the globules, which felt firm but soft, like a grape filled with liquid. Around the table, his roommates consumed their meals in strange ways. Bueller's feeding organ stretched out to swallow whole clusters. The Kyans rolled the globules into their mouths with practiced ease. The Verdanian's leaves absorbed nutrients just by touch. Finn nodded politely, ready to try his share. Then, taking a deep breath, he bit into the globule. The reaction was immediate. The Verdanian's leaves shook in shock. One of the Kyans made a strangled noise and fell back. Zephic's wings snapped open wide in horror, and Bueller's humming stopped, replaced by a sound like a whale's retching. "What?" Zephic gasped, voice sharp and high. "What are you doing?" Finn paused, the taste strange but not bad. "Eating?" he asked, confused. The Siler pointed a trembling glass-like finger at his mouth. "Grinding. Crushing. By the stars, you are destroying it. Are those bone fragments in your mouth?" Finn swallowed carefully. "Teeth. They're called teeth." The room erupted in confusion and alarm. Zephic began whispering prayers in his native tongue. The Kyan backed away until he hit the wall. The Verdanian's leaves drooped, and Bueller tried to hide in a corner as if he might disappear. The word teeth was repeated in hushed, fearful tones. The Siler looked like he might faint. Finn looked around, suddenly very aware of all the eyes on him. He had spent months studying xenobiology to prepare for this moment, but no textbook had warned him about this reaction. "Look," Finn said carefully, "I can explain." 3 days later, Finn sat alone at breakfast. The cafeteria was full of students from many species, chatting and eating in their own ways. But around table 74, where Finn sat with his tray of carefully chosen whole foods, there was a quiet space. Other students kept a small distance. It felt like an invisible shield. Suddenly, a soft voice spoke beside him. "Mind if I sit?" Zephic hovered nearby, his wings folded nervously. He held a formal-looking tablet and wore a serious expression. I've been researching human dental weaponry. Finn blinked, then gestured to the empty chairs. Sure. Plenty of room. Zephyk settled across from him and activated his tablet. Item 1, are the bone fragments in your mouth natural or surgically implanted for combat? Natural, Finn said, smiling. Item 2, do you require live prey or can your crushing predator apparatus process pre-killed protein sources? I don't require live anything, and I'm not a predator, Finn answered. Also, I wouldn't call humans predators. That word means something else where I come from. Zephyk's eyes grew huge. But the grinding, the destruction of food, that indicates hunting behavior. You evolved from hunters. Finn shrugged. Yeah, but I've never chased an antelope in my life. Antelope? Zephyk asked. A large fast herbivore. Humans used to run them down until they were too tired to run. It took hours, sometimes a whole day. Zephyk dropped his tablet. So it's true. Your ancestors hunted by endurance, not speed. Most species evolved from prey, but humans hunted by pursuing and exhausting. Fascinating. Finn nodded. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. Now we eat salads. The sailor looked thoughtful. Most species developed intelligence to avoid fights. Humans evolved to keep chasing. Your teeth are designed to break tough food, meat or plants. Still useful. Finn smiled. Yeah. And we keep the teeth because we still need to chew. The room fell silent, and then Zephyk whispered, persistence hunting. The first known species to evolve this way. Finn laughed quietly. I never thought about it like that before. Zephyk made a note. I would like to understand more. About the teeth, about your culture. Would you demonstrate maintenance of your dental weapons? Finn blinked. You want me to brush my teeth? For science. Weeks later, Professor Coolan's xenobiology class gathered in an amphitheater built for many species. Finn sat quietly, trying to blend in. But when the professor learned about his teeth, she arranged a demonstration. Class, we have a remarkable opportunity. Mr. Calloway will show us the human predatory dental structure. 200 eyes and sensory organs focused on Finn. He opened his mouth. A wave of shocked chittering spread through the room. Note the different teeth types, the professor explained. Cutters, canines, grinders. A full system inside the mouth, unlike other species. A Cayenne raised a paw. Professor, why would evolution create such an aggressive feeding mechanism? Finn stood, the room silent. Humans evolved on a planet with fast prey and no natural weapons like claws or venom. So we ran prey down over long distances. The pursuit could last hours, a sailor asked. Sometimes a whole day, Finn answered. Humans are built for endurance, not speed. We run steady longer than almost any animal on Earth. Professor Coolan nodded. Teeth are needed for tough raw meat. The Verdanians' leaves rustled nervously. Modern humans still have the teeth, but we switched to farming about 10,000 years ago. The class was quiet again. Finally, a bat-like student asked, could you show us how you chew? Finn took an apple from his bag and bit into it. The crisp crunch echoed in the silent room. He chewed slowly, aware of every motion, every click. Somewhere, a student fainted. Remarkable, the professor said softly. Humans have more control over feeding than other species. Finn looked around at the many fascinated and fearful faces. Any questions? Hands and tentacles rose everywhere. By the end of the day, Finn's strange teeth and old hunting stories had changed the way many aliens thought about humans. After the surprising demonstration in Professor Coolan's class, Finn found himself both more noticed and more isolated. Many students watched him with a new kind of curiosity, and others still kept their distance, unsure about how to react to the strange human with teeth that had caused so much shock. He often ate alone, carefully choosing his food and avoiding anything that might cause another scene. One morning, as Finn sat quietly at his usual table, Zephyk approached him again. This time, the Ventilon carried a serious look and a tablet full of notes. "Finn, I have been thinking about your teeth and their role beyond eating," Zephyk said. "Your species' dental structure is not only functional but cultural. Could you explain the maintenance ritual? The brushing?" Finn smiled. "Sure, it's something we do every day. Brushing keeps teeth clean and healthy so they don't rot or hurt." Zephyk's eyes widened. "You maintain your weapons daily to prevent failure?" Finn laughed. "They're not weapons, more like tools that need care." "Fascinating," Zephyk said, scribbling quickly on his tablet. Later that week, the entire Unity pod was invited to a practice session for sphere capture, the university's most popular sport. The game was played in a zero-gravity chamber filled with bouncing spheres. Teams competed to capture and hold the spheres using only their natural abilities. Finn's teammates were amazing. Bueller's large suction organs caught spheres easily. The Kyans used their sharp claws, and Prism, the Siler, shifted his translucent form to grip spheres in impossible ways. Finn struggled. His hands, designed for delicate tasks on Earth, failed to grip the spheres well. He tumbled and fumbled, barely holding on for a few seconds. The other pods watched with amusement. Korith Dawnfire, leader of the rival Harmony pod, laughed softly from the observation deck. "The human is clearly the weak link," she said, flickering her flame-like projections. Zephyk tried to encourage Finn. "Don't give up. Your hands may be weak, but you have other strengths." One day, while practicing alone, Finn had an idea. He bit down on a practice sphere. The tough surface pushed back against his teeth, but his bite left clear marks. Suddenly, the sphere stopped struggling to escape. Instead, it tried to avoid damage. This was different. Zephyk watched closely. "You are using your teeth to control the sphere. This has never been done before." "It's not about eating," Finn explained. "I'm just applying pressure in a way the sphere wasn't designed for." The team gathered, intrigued. Prism's crystalline form shifted excitedly. "This could change the game. If you can hold spheres like this, we can build new strategies." Bueller rumbled thoughtfully. "But is it fair? Does this count as cheating?" Zephyk nodded. "We must check the rules." After reviewing, Zephyk confirmed. Players may use any natural appendages or organs as long as they don't permanently damage equipment. Teeth don't damage the spheres. The team voted. 5 in favor, none opposed. They would use the human dental technique. News spread quickly. Harmony Pod was outraged. Korith called it an unfair biological advantage and warned the league. Reporters swarmed Finn with questions. "Is this really fair? Do you think this will change sphere capture forever?" Finn said little. He was more focused on preparing for the upcoming match. The day before the championship match, Nissa Brightwater, a Kristen literature student and Finn's friend, found him in the quiet of the atmospheric processor rooms. "Korith is planning something," she warned. "She wants to break your confidence. To make you doubt yourself." Finn nodded, feeling the weight of expectation. Maybe she's right. Maybe this isn't how sphere capture was meant to be played. Nissa smiled gently. Maybe it's exactly what the game needs. Your persistence and endurance, those are skills. Showing new ways to play isn't wrong. The next day, the stadium was packed. Thousands of students and faculty watched as Unity Pod faced Harmony Pod. The spheres were coated with a bitter chemical, designed to make biting unpleasant but not harmful. Finn grimaced as he bit into the spheres, enduring the horrible taste to hold possession. The match was brutal. Harmony Pod's flawless teamwork pushed Unity Pod to the limit. Finn's teammates fought harder than ever, inspired by his refusal to give up. Slowly, Unity Pod closed the gap. The final minutes were a blur of exhaustion and determination. With seconds left, Harmony Pod had the winning sphere. Nissa took the shot and missed. Later, she admitted she did it on purpose. "I wanted you to win," she said quietly. "It scared me how much I wanted that." After the match, Korith called the game a demonstration of will. Not elegant, but effective. Finn was exhausted but proud. He had shown that persistence, stubbornness, and the courage to try something new could change everything. The weeks after the championship match brought a whirlwind of attention for Finn. The unusual use of human teeth in sphere capture had sparked debates across Confluence University and beyond. Some hailed it as a brilliant new strategy, others called it unfair, even predatory, in spirit. Despite the mixed opinions, Finn's teammates stood firmly behind him, proud of the new approach they had developed together. Finn's life grew busier. Between xenobiology classes and practice sessions, he was often surrounded by reporters and students eager to learn about human culture and biology. Zephyk, Bueller, Prism, and the Kyans had become close friends, his first real family in this strange, shared world. One afternoon, Finn was in the university library's botanical section, surrounded by living walls that whispered quietly in their native languages. He was reading about evolutionary psychology when Nissa approached, carrying a stack of literature texts. "Mind if I join you?" she asked. "Of course," Finn replied, closing his book. Nissa sat beside him, her faceted features glowing softly in the filtered light. "I've been thinking about human stories," she said. "Your literature often focuses on struggle and endurance. It's different from most species, where stories are about balance or avoiding conflict." Finn smiled. "Yeah, we like stories where the hero works hard, sometimes for a long time, before winning. Like the tortoise and the hare. The slow but steady one wins." Nissa nodded. "It's fascinating. Your culture embraces difficulty as something valuable, not just something to avoid." Finn leaned back. "Well, life's hard sometimes. Anyone can succeed if it's easy. It's how you handle the tough parts that shows who you really are." Their conversation was interrupted by Zephyk's arrival. "There's a new challenge coming," he said, his wings twitching. "The Thoraxians are arriving next month." Finn raised an eyebrow. "Thoraxians? Who are they?" "They're a species with very strange feeding habits," Zephyk explained. "They externally predigest their food with secretions, then absorb it through mouth organs. It's like spitting on their food and drinking it." Finn laughed. "So, basically, they're flies?" Zephyk smiled. "In a way, yes. But they're here to study species like humans who form emotional attachments to food preparation." Finn looked around at his friends. "Looks like I'll need to learn more about oral hygiene for my new guests." Nissa grinned. "And I'll need to update my research on cross-species relationships." As the Thoraxians arrived, Finn took on a new role, ambassador for human culture. He showed them how humans brushed their teeth, explained the meaning behind smiles, and shared stories about persistence and endurance. Some Thoraxians even adapted parts of the rituals to fit their own biology. One evening, after a long day of demonstrations and discussions, Finn and Nissa sat on the observation deck overlooking the zero-gravity training chamber. The complex was quiet except for the soft hum of life support systems. Nissa turned to him, her features glowing gently. "Finn, I've been thinking about that match, about why I missed the final shot." Finn looked at her, curious. "I realized I wanted you to win more than my pod. It scared me. In my culture, putting the group above the individual is everything. But with you, I felt something different. Maybe harmony isn't always about balance between people. Maybe sometimes it's about following your heart, even when it's hard." Finn smiled warmly. "That's very human." She laughed softly. "And very Kristen." They sat in comfortable silence, two beings from different worlds learning that the space between species might be smaller than anyone expected. Meanwhile, the university was abuzz with news of Finn's latest lectures. He often stood before large crowds, demonstrating human dental care and explaining its deeper cultural meanings. Students from many species came to learn, some even adopting oral hygiene routines inspired by humans. Your species has turned teeth into symbols of care, emotion, and connection, Nissa told a packed lecture hall. They are not just tools but stories told in smiles. Finn nodded. We do take care of our teeth, yes. But also, we take care of each other with them, through expressions, laughter, and sometimes through shared rituals. In the months that followed, Finn and Nissa's friendship deepened into something more. Despite cultural differences, they found common ground in their love of learning, storytelling, and challenging impossible odds. 1 year after his first night at Unity Pod, Finn stood before a mixed-species audience in the largest hall at Confluence University. He demonstrated proper tooth brushing with a model twice the size of a human head, much to the delight and curiosity of the students. Maintenance is about more than cleanliness, Finn explained. It's about caring for the tools that help us connect with the world. A Kython in the front row raised a paw. Is the brushing ritual cultural or biological? Finn smiled. Both. Humans turn many physical actions into cultural rituals. It helps us find meaning. From the back of the room, Nissa's voice called out, what about social signaling? The meaning of smiles? Finn grinned, flashing his teeth in a friendly smile that no longer caused panic. Great question, Professor Brightwater. Smiles show many things, friendship, warning, emotion, pride, even humor. The class laughed, a warm sound that mixed many languages and species. As students crowded around the demonstration table, Finn felt a deep sense of belonging. The strange, terrifying teeth that had once made his roommates afraid had become a bridge between worlds. The weeks turned into months, and Finn's life at Confluence University became a blend of study, friendship, and unexpected challenges. As the first human on campus, he was often called upon to explain his species' strange biology, especially his teeth, which had become something of a legend. But Finn didn't mind. He enjoyed sharing stories, breaking down fears, and building connections. One afternoon, as the sun cast soft light through the university's glass domes, Zephic approached Finn with news. The Thoraxian delegation has arrived, he said, his wings fluttering with excitement. They are eager to learn about species with strong emotional bonds to food preparation. Finn raised an eyebrow. Sounds like my kind of guests. The Thoraxians were unlike anything Finn had seen. Their bodies were slender and covered in a translucent carapace. Their mouth organs were delicate and specialized for absorbing liquid food. They shared their unique feeding process openly, explaining how enzymes in their secretions broke down food outside their bodies before they consumed it. Finn laughed. So you basically spit on your food and then drink it? The Thoraxian smiled. That is one way to describe it. Over the next weeks, Finn became a cultural ambassador, demonstrating human dental hygiene and the deeper meanings behind rituals like toothbrushing and smiling. He even taught the Thoraxians how humans use these actions to express care, friendship, and trust. Nissa joined him frequently, fascinated by the Thoraxians and eager to study the blending of cultures. One evening, the three sat together on the observation deck, watching the quiet hum of the atmosphere processors below. Nissa spoke first. Finn, I've been thinking about how your species embraces struggle and endurance. It's different from many cultures here. Finn nodded. Yeah, for us, the hard parts of life are where we learn who we are. Stories of persistence help us keep going when things get tough. Nissa smiled softly. And sometimes, that persistence means breaking the rules or changing the game. Finn grinned. Like using teeth to play sphere capture. She laughed. Exactly. You taught me that it's not always about harmony. Sometimes it's about will. As the new semester began, Finn faced fresh challenges. Corith Dawnfire, leader of Harmony Pod, was determined to find ways to counter Unity Pod's human dental techniques. She studied human biology and psychology, searching for weaknesses. One day, during practice, Finn noticed subtle changes in the spheres used for the game. They now had a bitter coating, designed to discourage biting. The taste was awful, like rotten eggs mixed with bitter medicine. It made holding spheres with his teeth unpleasant, but Finn refused to give up. His teammates admired his stubbornness. Bueller's suction organs worked harder, Zephyc flew faster, and Prism's crystalline hands adapted to cover weaknesses. Together, they pushed through, inspired by Finn's endurance. The championship match was intense. Harmony Pod executed perfect formations, but Unity Pod fought back with equal skill and fierce determination. The bitter spheres made Finn's technique harder, but he used it only when necessary, biting through the unpleasant taste to secure crucial spheres. The score was close. With seconds left, Harmony Pod had the winning sphere. Nissa stepped forward, poised to make the final shot. But then she missed. Later, she confessed to Finn that she missed on purpose. She wanted him to win, and the feeling scared her. In her culture, loyalty to the group was everything. But with Finn, she had felt something different, individual desire and harmony blending together. The media called it a demonstration of will. Not graceful, but unforgettable. After the match, Finn found Nissa waiting for him on the observation deck. They talked quietly, sharing hopes and fears. Despite their differences, they realized the space between species was smaller than they thought. 1 year after his first nervous dinner at Unity Pod, Finn stood before a packed lecture hall. He demonstrated proper dental care and explained how humans use teeth as tools for connection, expression, and culture. Students of many species listened, fascinated by the human way of turning the physical into the meaningful. Finn looked out at the crowd and smiled. The teeth that had once caused shock and fear were now a symbol of understanding and friendship. And he knew that in this strange new world, persistence and courage could build bridges across even the greatest differences. The following months felt like a whirlwind for Finn. The university had become a place where he no longer felt like an outsider but like a pioneer. His unusual biology, the teeth that once sparked fear, was now a symbol of human resilience and culture. Through challenges and victories, Finn had found friends, love, and a new purpose. One afternoon, Finn and Nissa sat together in the botanical gardens, a quiet place filled with alien plants that whispered softly. They talked about the strange journey they had shared, from fear and misunderstanding to friendship and respect. Nissa's faceted features glowed warmly. "Finn, do you ever think about how far you've come? From that first dinner where your teeth shocked everyone, to now, teaching hundreds about human culture." Finn smiled, the sunlight catching his teeth. "Sometimes. It's funny how something so ordinary at home can seem so strange elsewhere. But I guess that's the point, what's normal depends on where you are." Nissa nodded. "And how you're willing to open yourself up to others. You showed everyone here that persistence and stubbornness aren't weaknesses. They can be strengths." Their conversation was interrupted by a group of new students arriving from distant worlds. Among them were the Thoraxians, arriving to begin their studies at Confluence University. Their feeding habits were unusual, but Finn welcomed them warmly, ready to share what he had learned about bridging cultural gaps. As the new students settled in, Finn thought about the future. He would be the first human to graduate from Confluence University. A year ago, that idea had seemed impossible. But now, surrounded by friends like Zephyc, Bueller, Prism, and Nissa, he felt ready for anything. One evening, after a long day of lectures and practice, Finn stood on the observation deck with Nissa. The university lights twinkled below, and the stars stretched out above in endless darkness. "We've changed a lot," Nissa said softly. "We have," Finn agreed. She smiled and took his hand. "Ready to face whatever comes next?" Finn squeezed her hand gently. With you? Always. They stood in silence, two beings from different worlds, connected by trust and hope. Back in his room, Finn looked in the mirror at the teeth he had once barely noticed. Now, they told a story of survival, friendship, and breaking barriers. He brushed them carefully, the ritual grounding him in both his past and his future. Across the galaxy, other species would hear his story. About the human who used teeth to change a game, who embraced persistence over speed, who turned fear into understanding. And maybe, just maybe, they would see their own differences not as walls, but as bridges. Finn smiled, truly smiled, and for the first time, those teeth were not just tools or weapons, but a symbol of who he had become.